Good day, sir. My name is Jocelyn, and in this presentation, I'll be explaining about my final assessment. I'll be covering the section 1, which focus on the fast fashion, and the section 2, which focus on the pollution caused by a firm. For section 1, I analyzed the article The Fast Fashion Model, Why the Problem Goes Beyond Shein. The main moral issue is that fast fashion allows companies to produce clothes quickly and cheaply, but this can also create problems such as low wages, poor working conditions, and environmental damage and the overproduction. First, I used the Rawls prima facie duty theory. Rawls explains that people have different moral duties, and sometimes these duties can have conflicts. So in this case, non-maleficence is important because companies should avoid harming workers and the environment. Justice is also important as workers should be treated fairly. It is unfair if companies and consumers benefit from cheap clothes while the workers experience poor working conditions. Beneficence means doing good. Companies should take positive action to improve working environments and reduce the environmental harm. Although companies have duty to make profits and protect their business, but I believe that preventing serious harm should have greater importance. Second, I use Kant's second formulation of the categorical imperative. Kant says that people should be treated as ends in themselves and not merely as means. This means that workers should not be treated only as cheap labor to achieve or increase company profits. Companies should respect workers' dignity, rights, and well-being. Consumers should also receive honest information so that they can make responsible choices. Therefore, I believe that fast fashion becomes unethical when human beings are treated mainly as tools for profits. Third, I use the ethical relativism. This theory explains that moral belief can differ between cultures and societies. For example, some people may see cheap clothing as important because it is affordable, while others may give greater importance to workers' rights and environmental protection. I think ethical relativism is useful because it helps us to understand different perspectives. However, cultural difference should not be used to justify serious harm or exploitation. My position is that fast fashion is morally problematic when low prices and profits are achieved through serious harm to workers and the environment. However, I don't think that affordable clothing must completely disappear because companies should instead improve the working conditions, reduce waste, increase transparency, and take greater responsibility for their environmental impact. For section 2, I selected a news article about pollution in Sungai Sepetang. The article reported that a treatment pond embankment belonging to a palm oil mill collapsed. Wastewater and sludge entered nearby waterways. Around 2 tons of fish died, and about 100 fishermen were affected. The moral issue is whether the company has a responsibility to prevent pollution, repair the damage, and help the people that are affected. I started with the required prompt, critically evaluate the moral issues in the article and explain what is right thing to do. I then drew down 10 times to challenge the AI responses. First, I considered different stakeholders, including fishermen, residents, workers, governments, and the company. Then, I used the Rawls theory to examine duties such as justice and non-maleficence. I used Kant's theory to consider whether affected people were being treated with respect and dignity as well. I'd also used the utilitarianism to compare the benefits and harms of different decisions. For example, closing the factory may protect the environment, but it could also affect workers. One important point I learned is that an accident does not automatically remove a company from their moral responsibility. We should consider whether the company had proper safety measures and how it responded after the pollution happened. The drill down process helped me to understand that environmental responsibility is not only about cleaning pollution after it happens. Companies should also prevent future harm through proper maintenance, risk management, and better environmental controls. I also learned that legal responsibility and moral responsibility are not always the same. A company may follow the law, but still have moral responsibility to help people seriously affected by its activities. In conclusion, both sections showed me that business decisions are not only about making money, making profits. Roles help me understand different duties. Kant helped me understand human dignity, and ethical relativism helped me to understand different perspectives from different societies and cultures. For the section 2 part, it showed me how ethical theories and stakeholders analysis can be used to understand environmental problems. Overall, I believe business should balance profit with responsibility towards workers, communities, and the environment. Thank you.